Hey guys, it's Brennius back again with another card fight Vanguard deck profile. So if you guys enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and join the Patreon. Let's get one started. Today we have Gold Paladin with Bluish Flames. If you know me, I'm not necessarily a big fan of Bluish Flames. Don't get me wrong, they're fine. I just don't like Bluish Flames because they came out of Legion, and I hate almost everything that came out of Legion. There are the exceptions of very few cards, and even then there are... Actually, how many things do I actually like that came out of Legion? I like the new Musketeers. Well, that depends. If we're going OG Legion shit, I literally like nothing that came out of Legion. That is a genuine fact. I like nothing that came out of the OG Legion. If we're counting like the reprints, I like all of them. But otherwise, I don't like them, and I hated Oliver, the person that uses the deck in the anime. But I like Gold Paladins. I like Liberators. Bluish Flames are both, so I have reasons to like them. So let's go ahead and get this one started. First up, we have our starter in Spring Breeze Messenger. 6k base, 10k shield, grade 1 with... grade 0 with boost. Auto, when rode upon, draw a card, and then if your opponent's Vanguard is a grade 1 or greater, get a quick shield ticket. So, a way to get an extra draw, which is fine, and you get a quick shield ticket, which is nothing special. That's what all grade 1s... Grade 0s do. Why am I getting the grade 1? Anyways, it's nothing special. There's no real Liberator starter, unfortunately, so I can't give this deck a Liberator starter like I would like to, but it's still a good grade 0, and might as well run it. So, Spring Breeze Messenger. Trigger-wise, we run 2 crits in Flame of Victory, 2 draw in Foresight Courier, 4 front trigger of Knight of Hard Forceful Fight Nalnes, 4 Halo Shield mark as another draw trigger as our draw Sentinel. Sentinel, you may only have up to 4 in the deck. Auto guard when placed, just card a card from hand, one of your units cannot be hit on the battle. A way to nullify big attacks. The reason why it's here is because you call from deck most of the time. Genuinely, it's probably better to just have the PG ready in hand. Just also you need the draw to, refill the cards that may have on place effects that activate when they're placed from hand. And then finally, our heal will be Elixir Sommelier as our heal trigger. I don't like heal guardians. I've said it before, I'll say it again. They only work when you haven't ridden a grade 3. They are 5k shield less than heal triggers, and the second you get to grade 3, they're basically useless because they're only 10k bases. So, yep, that's pretty much all I have to say about them. Let's go ahead and move on to the main deck. Before I do, the reason why it's 2 crit here is because, the reason why there's 2 crit here is solely because, I wanted the chance, maybe there's a time where I might be able to just crit rush someone. So maybe just put the crit here because I didn't want to put more fronts, and the crit actually works surprisingly. So yeah. Also, before I continue on, thank you to Monolo for putting this deck on the slide together. I appreciate that, and thank you for also what's going to be on the end screen. So good job on you. On to our grade 1s, we have 2 copies of Stronghold of the Black Chains Hoel, 8k base, 10k shield, grade 1 with boost, continues rear, you're the unit in the same column as it. If it was placed that turn, it gets +5. If Advance of the Black Chains Kahedin was on your van or rear, it gets +10 instead of +5. So a way to give something that's placed another 5, just to make it swing for bigger, and if Kahedin's on rear, you get a +10 out of it. So an okay card, I say 2 of, because there are other important cards, but that power is still nice though. Plus you can place it behind van and, constantly make it bigger every time you ride. 3 copies of Knight of Reality Brennius, 8k base, 10k shield, grade 1 with boost. Auto rear, when your grade 3 greater Vanguard is placed, shove it to soul, draw a card, and call a card from hand to rear. Okay, you do a decent amount of soul blasting in this deck, so being able to, constantly call more units is really nice. Plus, you get a draw out of it, and you can send yourself to soul. So, nice grade 1, it's really easy to pull off 3 of. 3 of Dawning Knight Gorboduc, 8k base, 10k shield, grade 1 with boost, continues van or rear during your turn. If you call 2 or more rear guards this turn, it gets +5. That's really easy to do. Go grade 1, rush them. Literally, grade 1, rush their ass. That is what I did, and I put my friend to 4 damage because of Flame of Victory. So, you can do that, and you don't have to feel bad about it. And auto van or rear, when placed from hand, look at top 5, read up to 1 grade 3 for among them, and put it to your hand, shuffle your deck. If you put a card, you gotta discard 1. So you don't have to put if you don't want to, but it's a way to deck them because, as everyone knows, deck thinning is a deck winning, and there's also a card in this deck that calls stuff from drop, so it's basically just a way to get a grade 3 and send something to drop that can call right back. So technically you're not losing anything. 3 copies of Gorboduc because he's really helpful. And our last grade 1, and our new grade 1, 4 copies of Fast Chase Liberator Josephus, 8k base, 10k shield, grade 1 with boost. I didn't like this guy's old art. I now do, partially because he has a bird, but also because of the way he's standing. Auto, when it's rode upon, you may look at the top card of your deck. If it's a unit card, you may call it to rear. Okay, I find that interesting that it's not the standard when it's rode upon, you may call it from soul. Yeah, there are other cards that do that, like the Wheel Assault from Aquaforce, but I just find it interesting. It's still a good ability though. It's just it has the most downside to it because while yes, you're looking from deck and that's a good thing, it's only the top card, and there's a chance you might have to call a trigger. And while yeah, you're getting your effects off because you called from deck that turn, it's not that powerful, and you're most likely going to be on grade 2, where grade 2 doesn't really do that much when you call from deck that turn. But it's still a good grade 1 nonetheless, and it can help you set up for later events, and maybe it can even give you a Percival out of it. But otherwise, I'd say it's like a 50-50 grade 1, but it's still your main ride target, so go ahead and run it. And then its other ability, which is the main reason why it's here, Auto, when it's placed on rear from deck, Soul Blast 1, Countercharge 1, then Soul Blast another one to draw a card. So Soul Blast 1 first to get a Countercharge, which is really nice. You have 2 Countercharges in this deck, this is one of them, so that's nice that you can get another one. And then Soul Blast 1 to get a draw out of it. So Josephus is a really good grade 1 to call from deck, and he can be used as ride fodder. So 4 copies. On to our grade 2s. 2 copies of Advance of the Black Chains Kahedin, 9k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with Intercept. Auto rear when placed, counterblast 1, discard 1, look at top 3, call 1 card from among them to rear and shuffle your deck. If you have a Stronghold of the Black Chains Hoel on your van or rear, draw a card. So basically, a way to draw, a way to call more units, and just all around helpful and good with combos with Hoel. They're both really at 2 because you shouldn't have one more than the other, because since both their abilities activate with the other one being on field, you should have them at the same amount. But it's mainly here because you can get more rear guards in the worst case scenario that your Vanguard can't use ability for whatever reason that may be, or this might be a better choice than the Vanguard skill. Either way, 2 copies of Kahedin because he can be helpful at some scenarios. 3 copies of our second Countercharger, Knight of Strong Favors Berengaria, 9k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with Intercept, auto rear when placed by your card's ability, perform one of the following: Counterblast 1 and Soul Charge 1, or Soul Blast 1 and Countercharge 1. So basically, pay 1 in cost, do the opposite. So if you Counterblast, you got a Soul Charge. If you Soul Blast, you got a Countercharge. You don't have to, but it's basically the way to do something. I would suggest do the Soul Blast. You get plenty of Soul in this deck. Like, genuinely, you get plenty of Soul. You do not need more Soul Charging. Soul Blast. You'll be fine. If you really need that Soul, or you need a certain thing in Soul, go ahead, but I promise you, like, you use up more Counterblast than you use Soul Blast. So, Regia, she's a good card, but I suggest going with the Countercharge ability. 3 copies. 4 copies of Oath Liberator Aglovale, 9k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with Intercept. Auto van, when placed, Counterblast 1, look at top 3, call up to 1 card from among them to rear, and put the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. So a way to kind of stack triggers or deck thing, because you're going to shuffle anyways later. So I guess that's a good thing. And then also, when it attacks, put a rear guard into your soul, if it's on rear obviously, and this unit gets plus 10 until end of battle. At the end of the battle, return it to hand. So, a way to just swing for 19, it can get you soul. This is the freest way to get soul. Genuinely, use this with any of your cards on places like this or this, and you already have, like, fodder. Or maybe this, like, half of your deck is on place, so they're basically fodder for Aglovale, which is really nice. And they all their abilities will activate anyways from your calling abilities. So, way to swing for 19, it can bounce itself, and if it's an Accel gift, 24, and if you're using your new Vanguard of Prominence core, probably going to be more. So, Aglovale, nice grade 2 to have, 4 of. And now we have our final grade 2 and our new grade 2, Liberator of Royalty Phallon, 9k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with Intercept. Continuous rear during your turn. If your rear guard is placed from deck during this turn, it gets plus 5. So, pretty much, literally what most of this deck does. The second you get to grade 3, you're probably calling something from deck this turn. So, a way to just swing for 14, unfortunately it has to be on rear, but still, it's still a good ability. And auto van to rear, when its attack hits a Vanguard, you may look at the top card and call it to rear if it's a unit. So, really nice. Yeah, you can get a unit and benefit off of it. So, I like Phallon. He's really nice. His weird wording doesn't make sense to me, though. Like, if he hits the Vanguard and he's on rear and then you call something, the 5k won't really matter, especially if this is what you're using to call stuff. But you're probably going to call stuff anyway, so that doesn't really matter anyways. Phallon is a nice grade 2, 4 of. On to grade 3s. 4 of Bluish Flame Liberator Percival. This is your main setup point. If at any point you get this in your hand, if you mulligan it, I will be forever disappointed in you. I will openly, like, give you the look, like, you've made a mistake, go fix it. Or I'm disappointed in you, I disown you from whatever. I disown you from the Gold Paladin clan. Anyways, Percival's 12k base, grade 3 Twin Drive Accel gift, continues to ban all of your units on additional rear guard tokens get plus 5 during both players' turns. So that's a passive skill. So anything on your Accel gifts become at least a guaranteed 13k base or 14. Depends. If they're triggers, they're 10k base. If they're these grade 2s, they're 14k base. If they're grade 1s, they're probably 13k base. So Percival's a really nice grade 3 for that. And auto van a rear when placed, if you have a Vanguard that's grade 3 or greater, never mind. You cannot use this with Aglovale or Kahedin. My bad. But anyways, Percival's skill, Auto Rear when placed if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard. Counterblast 1 and discard 1. Get an imaginary gift Accel. Search your deck or drop zone for up to 1 Oath Liberator Aglovale. Call it to rear, and if you search your deck, shuffle your deck. This ability may only be used by a card with the same name as this unit once per turn. So it is a hard named once per turn, which means you can only use it once. But, you know, you just discard and counterblast, you get a gift out of it. You search for an Aglovale from drop or deck. This is what you use for discard fodder, by the way. And then you call it, and then you get your Accel gift draw after you shuffle, of course, if you search through your deck, because that's how skills work. You can't interrupt it. But Percival is a nice grade 3 because he can get you multiple Accel gifts at once, and he can get you 2 rear guards for the price of 1. So Percival, nice grade 3 to have, 4 of. In our last grade 3, and the guy who focuses on both Percival and Aglovale, Bluish Flame Liberator Prominence Core. It makes sense since lore-wise, accordingly, what's his name? Percival is Prominence Core who absorbed the power from Thingsaver Dragon, and since Percival could Legion with Aglovale, it would make sense that this guy could Legion with, I guess, both of them, since, you know, being in Soul makes sense, and then Aglovale being on rear also makes sense in form of Legioning and lore-wise. I don't know what the fuck I'm going with this, but still, my point stands, it works with both. Anyways, 12k base, grade 3 twin drive Accel gift, Act Van once per turn, counterblast 1, sack a rear guard. Okay, so this is Chrono Jail, that's not his name, Chromo Jailer, all over again with the retiring of rear guards and Gold Paladin. But then look at top 4 from the top of your deck, choose up to 2 unit cards from on them, call them to rear, and put the rest on bottom in any order. If you have a Bluish Flame Liberator Percival in your soul, choose up to 4 instead of 2. So basically, sack a rear guard, if Percival's in soul, you call all 4. Like, this is genuinely the deck where you kind of want to ride Percival first, maybe, because it's the easiest way to get into soul. Get your Accel gift. Next turn, you have 3 Accel gifts. Just call 4. So, really nice effect. And then the other ability, Auto Van, when your rear guard is placed until end of turn, that unit and this unit get +3. Then, if Oath Liberator Aglovale, if that unit is Oath Liberator Aglovale, and your opponent's Vanguard's at grade 3 or greater, the original critical of this unit becomes 2. Me and my friend made a slight misplay yesterday because that wasn't supposed to happen. But actually, no, never mind. We didn't make a misplay. Well, we did, but it was in the wrong way. Anyways, yeah, so, you know, you do have to call an Aglovale for the effect to go off. But, I mean, granted, regardless of what you call, you're getting +3 to that in that unit, this in that unit. But if you call an Aglovale, your original critical will become 2. But it's still a good effect regardless. It's a way to stack power. If you somehow manage to do this during the opponent's turn, you know, that's +3 during their turn, and that's just a really good thing to have. If you could combine this with Gurgit, that would be just so amazing, because you could use Gurgit's skill and then call stuff to guard circle. Well, then again, no, it wouldn't work, though, because they go to rear guard, but they'd have to go to rear guard for it, and this also only works on Van, but still, Prominence Core, nice grade 3 to have, amazing card, 4 of. Accel gift wise, we run 6 Accel 1, 6 Accel 2. They do basically the same thing. When they're acquired, you put them on a new front row rear guard circle. You do it left, then right, and then you keep alternating between the two because that's rulings. For Accel 1, though, when it's the unit on it gets +10. For Accel 2, the unit on it gets +5, but when the Accel gift is placed, you draw a card. So a way to constantly recycle a hand. Not a lot of people use Accel 1 anymore, except for really quick power plays that they're about to face a powerful deck or control deck. Accel 2 is normally the way to go, though, just because you get a draw out of it. We have a quick shield, which is just when one of your units is attacked, it gets +5 for the battle. Why Bushy made this is beyond me. There's no way to get more than just 1 because you have to ride from a grade 0. Then they scrapped it in Overdress where it would make sense to have it. But yeah, and no one really. I think if Bush intended this for this to be a 5k guard, people rarely use this as a 5k guard. They mainly use it as discard fodder. But if they meant it for it to be discard fodder, then they did really well. I'm not saying that they don't use this 5k guards. I've seen people use this 5k guards. Mandala specifically uses a 5k guards. But Quick Shield, yeah, it's a meh. And that was the deck. And my last little shout out real quickly is to Mandala. He he came up with this idea of putting this icon over here, so to represent the clan. It gets the official Gold Paladin clan marking. It was technically the first deck to do this. All the other decks that I've released this week, except for Shadows, because I forgot to do it in that one, got this little clan marking on them. So even though they were uploaded first, this was done first. So go thank Monolith for that down in the comments for giving me the idea to do this and doing it and doing this entire slide himself. So thank you, my boy. And that was the deck, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, donate to the Patreon, join the Discord, follow the Twitch, and I'll see you on this one. Don't forget to stand up your vanguards.